Which club?
CRI.
All right.
Yeah.
And now you've been rowing for about 30
You're
years.
supposed to ask me my age now.
Oh, okay. Well, they say you don't ask age, but how many years young are you?
79 and a half.
All right. When did you turn 80?
March 29th.
Okay.
Just in case you want to send me a greeting.
Oh, will do.
Yeah, right.
Wonderful. So, did you race at the head of the Charles this year?
This year and last year.
All right. How did it go?
Very well.
Good stuff.
The first time around, all I wanted to do was finish and be afloat.
And not flip. I know that's right.
And that worked.
Yes.
And then the second time around, I felt jittery a little bit.
Yeah.
And my grandson said, well, yeah, you got more at stake.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
not just being afloat, you want to do better. I said, yeah, that's
And
right.
you did.
I did.
So I hear that you have one of the best coaches.
I do. Anton Prodon is fantastic.
Yes. Now, wasn't he an Olympic level coach?
Olympic level, he's been on the Ukrainian national team. His daughter just won the under 17 and was third in the youth.
Yes.
She won Canadian Henley.
Oh.
She won under 17 in nationals. She's only been rowing 2 years.
That's genetics and good coaching.
It's good coaching and
Yes,
tremendous discipline.
But you know what? There's something that is within her
Yeah,
that you can't coach. That has to be within.
that's right.
That's something they always talk about, a fire that burns within an athlete that a coach cannot. You can't teach that. That has to be something that is within. And so she has. I think also seeing awards and past accomplishments of her father does motivate her
Sure.
to want to have it of her own.
Sure.
But let's talk about you and
Yeah.
your motivation.
I
So-
like, I love to be physically active. I love to be on the water in small boats. I love the movement of the single scull. And I've got this nifty, perky new boat.
All right, what do you have?
I have an impacker
Oh, fancy.
and fantastic. And
German
so
engineer.
it just wants to go. And
Oh, yes.
I'm learning
Uh-oh.
to go with it.
Got the wind blowing, knocking stuff over.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I had a little wind on Friday. And if you remember the Fall Classic,
Okay.
it was
here
a
in Boston?
storm and a lot of wind.
Oh, see. But you stayed afloat?
I did. And what was amazing, even though I couldn't see out of my wet mirror, my time was only a minute slower than
Okay.
the previous head of the Charles.
Nice.
I thought that was amazing.
Absolutely. So, and you were rowing into the wind. That means you're getting stronger.
And the boat was full of water.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't feel the boat. It was just not my boat.
Yeah, it seemed to be heavier. But you know what? It's kind of funny. We were speaking before we went on air about determination and strength. And you and I share a common bond of true determination.
Right.
And please share what that common bond would be. That
Well, we both went through cancer,
that's right.
chemotherapy,
Absolutely.
radiation,
Yes, indeed.
recovery,
That's right.
getting stronger.
That's right.
That's right.
That's it. That's it. That's right.
All right.
So, if you don't mind sharing, what type of cancer did you have?
I had breast cancer,
Same. I had male breast cancer, so I understand.
but it was stage 1. But you know those fancy oncotype tests? Mine said I had to get chemotherapy, so it wouldn't come back. So I did, had a great oncologist, MGH, and I'm good to go.
It's fantastic. I unfortunately had to go through it twice.
Oh,
I had
no.
2 times. But you know what? It's all right because I went through it the first time, so the second time I knew what to expect,
Yeah.
but I was determined not to have it a third time.
Yes. That's
But I'll
good.
tell you one thing, you know this. Going through chemo, you lose your sense of taste. And after chemo is over, after all of the treatment is over, when you start to get that sensation back, food never tastes so good.
That's
before.
right. That's right.
Butter and ingredients
Yeah,
and sugar
right.
is just so good.
Well, it's like life, you know.
Yes.
It's just you appreciate it, and you don't want to waste,
That's
a
right.
moment of it.
That's right. It's funny because we always talk about how life imitates rowing. And I was speaking with someone earlier about how life imitates rowing, where we have rough patches in life. When you were racing and it was rough water, but you weathered it
That's right.
and you
That's
go
right.
through it.
That's
and
right.
you're there to tell about it later.
Right.
And then when it's a smooth patch, you enjoy it too.
Yeah. Sometimes I use analogy from sculling with my psychotherapy patients. Sometimes I share a little bit of my life. It depends if it's appropriate or not.
Yes.
And there's so many metaphors and analogies that really come into play.
Yes. So true indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned psychotherapy. What do you do
Oh.
outside of rowing?
I'm a psychotherapist,
All right.
a psychoanalyst.
Okay.
I teach clinical writing to other psychotherapists and psychoanalysts who want to be more creative about the way they write about what actually happens in the clinical environment.
Okay.
And I have a book out on that too.
What's
So
the
we could
name
have
of
another
it?
interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is the name of your book?
Okay.
So you're an author?
I'm an author, a writer,
rower?
a writing coach, a
Yes.
therapist,
Yes.
and I've never put so much time into rowing as I have this year with all of that going on.
Wow. So there's a motivating factor. What is that motivating factor that has caused you to put so much more time in this year?
I keep asking that question myself.
It's because rowing is addictive.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
is.
I love to learn. I love to feel like I'm getting better.
Yes,
So I get to go beyond myself,
that's true.
and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny we talk about rowing and its longevity. It's open to every age group. So that's the beauty of the Charles. You can be a novice, you can be an elite,
Right.
you can be octogenarian
Yes,
and rowing well.
that's right.
And you can always learn something more in the sport. You can always improve.
Absolutely.
You get your catches right, you find out now my finishes are messy. Now you
Right.
find out, oh, getting my finishes correct. Now I'm rushing this one. It's just always
That's right.
something you can always work on. So it never is a finished job.
Right. But
can always
after
polish it.
after a hard workout and you're coming back to the boathouse and you're still with your coach and my coach is telling me, slow down, slow down. But it's like that rowing is such a gift.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That I always talk about that feeling, a sense of flying,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and communing with nature and just being left alone sometimes in the single and no technology, no one speaking. I love it when it's flat water.
Yeah. Yeah.
See a duck or two. I
Right.
like the
Turtles. Right.
yeah,
Herons.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just some nature, blue sky, just a little bit of wind, just a little bit, not
Just
too
a
much.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just such a euphoric feeling.
It is. But
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone. I feel like I'm in relationship with my boat.
True indeed.
And I'm getting this constant feedback. And of course, that's in relation to the water
Yes,
and the
it
blades in the
is.
water. And
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I'm connected into a whole network of movement and
Yes, you are.
sensation.
Yes. Yeah, because you're getting that run on the boat. You are communicating with it. You're right.
Right.
And it's communicating back because get a catch wrong, it'll tell you.
And in that rainy race, and the boat was full of water,
Yeah.
it wasn't the same sensation I was used to. And it was like I couldn't get in sync.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it didn't feel, you didn't have that normal feeling.
No, the water was sloshing around.
Oh,
and
God, I can imagine. So that's a lot of resistance. So it's kind of like a resistance training run that day.
it was like the relationship was askew. Something was off.
Yeah. 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 It's like the boat was angry with you. It said, I'm not having a good day today.
No, not angry with me. It was very unhappy.
It was just
to have,
unhappy.
have to carry all that water for 3 miles and not be in sync with me.
That's right. It's like, so we all have bad days, boats included.
Yeah, right. Right. But that sense of being synchronized,
Mm.
and letting the boat run,
Yes.
putting the power in, and then that's just delicious.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you get that run, I know what you're talking about.
And no calories.
And it is.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Something serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What motivated you to start rowing? Why did you start rowing?
As a camper, sleepaway camp,
Mm.
I started in small boats.
Okay.
So you row the dinghy out to the sailboat,
Yeah.
and you come up to the sailboat and just glide like you come up to a dock.
Yeah.
And then canoes, and then small sailboats, and then a 25-foot sailboat.
Mm.
Come out here, where are the small boats? On the Charles River. So I just popped in, and having all that rowboat experience,
Mm.
I was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've never rode in rowboats extensively. I've done it once or twice. But what's the difference in feeling? Of course, it's wider, it's higher, but how do the two connect?
Well,
in
going
terms of-
backwards.
Yes, true.
Two hands.
Yeah.
But there's not the same glide in a rowboat.
Oh,
I'd
absolutely.
easily give the rowboat up for a single spell. But I was just comfortable doing it. I have a memory of the very first, not the first time, but one of the first times I went on the Charles in a learning signal
Yes.
single. And I was at one of the canoeing, kayaking outfits.
Yeah.
And there were two of us in a semi-private lesson.
Okay.
I got in the boat, shoved off, and was coordinated. I was just doing it.
Oh, wow.
The other guy. So the teacher said, "Go ahead," and I just went off on my own. I was in sight, and I see this other guy going around in circles.
Oh, Lord. They always say like a baby giraffe learning how to walk, just
Yeah.
not coordinated, just all over the place. Just,
But
yes.
I just felt comfortable, and then I joined CRI and
All
took
right.
classes and
Yeah.
did a lot of group coaching and individual coaching, and then Anton arrived, and so I had the first time I've ever been in a training program, just totally different. The whole month's workout is laid out with progressions.
Yes. It does make it easier. It gives you, you can have measurable data. You can almost see where yes.
Yeah, you can
see your
feel it.
Exactly.
Right.
Because hey, I feel better in week 3 than I did week 1.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody's so attentive to you. And Anton's tweaking this or tweaking that or
Yeah.
guiding me. It's the most, I mean, we thrive on attention, right? But this
True
is
indeed.
attuned attention with the impetus to help you improve. That's what we do as psychotherapists.
I was a teacher for many years, and your students crave your attention, and they want to seek your approval.
Right.
And they work so hard to hear good job.
Yeah.
And so you want to give them the tools that they need so that they can achieve.
Exactly. I do a lot of teaching,
Yes, so
teaching
you
writing.
know-
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a good writing teacher.
Well, we could talk about it.
Math? All right.
All right. I'll give you a freebie, just like you're giving me one.
Science, we could go with it. But
Okay.
yeah, and we always talk about coaching and teachers. You can have those who are fantastic rowers and great athletes, but they do not have that talent to make coaching or make the
Yeah, right.
sport they're doing become an applied science for someone else.
That's right.
And sometimes you have those who have never rowed a day in their life, but they get it.
Right.
And they know how to articulate it and present it and teach it perfectly.
Right.
Because you have some track coaches I think about never ran a day in their lives, but are brilliant in the sport.
Interesting.
And it's beautiful when you have someone who has been an athlete, had tremendous success, and then they can also be a coach who makes it an applied science. I think those are the best because they know what you're feeling and they know how to address you as a coach, but also come to you as from an athletic or athlete's perspective.
Right. And I think one of the challenges in good coaching is to encourage the person you're coaching,
Absolutely.
let them appreciate what they do well, and guide them to do something a little bit better without putting them down or feeling
Absolutely.
without their feeling criticized. So that balance between what you're doing is really great, and here's the next step.
That's right. It's all in how you present it. Everyone wants to receive some type of praise, to be edified, And I think about that. I coach the UT club crew, and my young ladies and my gentlemen are rowing today.
Oh,
I'm
great.
so proud of them because they're working so hard, and I know their hearts. And they always tell me, Coach Napoleon, we're so glad you're working with us. You make us feel happy.
That's right.
Even when the workouts are hard.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, but they give me the effort, and you want to have them buy into the hard workouts.
That's right.
So that they are willing to do it, because then in the end it'll yield those results that they're seeking. But it's all in your presentation.
And sometimes the hard workout is so hard you don't want to keep going.
But if you have someone who is motivating you and they have bought into it, they're willing to say, you know what, I can do this anyway. It's kind of like when you have teammates will push harder because they want to be accountable for their own team. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me too.
So what are your plans for the 2025 season? now that you are racing? Because you said your first official race, you were how old?
78 and a half.
So you've only been racing a year.
Well, my
Almost
goal
2
when I
years.
started racing was to be able to race at 80, right?
All
That's
right.
next year.
That's right.
But then I met a woman who's 87, who's rode in about 25 head of the Charles races. But she did say this was going to be her last year. So now I have another goal.
Oh, that's right.
Can I race through my
Of
80s?
course you can. They had a reception at Masters Nationals this year honoring octogenarians and above. And there were, I do not know the term for those who are in their 90s. I can't remember the term for it, but they had about six.
They had how many?
About six of them.
6?
And there was one gentleman who's a part of Chinook Performance Racing. That's the
But
team
they
I'm
were
putting-
high level, elite
Yeah,
level
they're-
racers.
Yeah, no. One of the
Oh.
guys, he didn't start rowing until he was in his, I think, 70s or 80s. And he's 91 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 90. Last name is Hauser, I believe. Tannhauser. That's him. Yeah, you had him on yesterday. Yes, he races and a pistol. And it's like, yes, he is. As sharp as can be. Yes, he is. And he's
well,
still racing.
My goal this year was to have a better time and to pass somebody.
Did you do it?
I did it.
All right.
I beat 3 people in my,
All
as far
right.
as my time went.
That's
So,
it.
so next year, I want to do even better.
Yes. And you will.
I
You
will.
I love it. So, did you go up in age group next year?
I do.
Oh, so you're the baby of the age group then.
Uh-huh.
So, I love it. I love it. Well, I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
I love that you have these goals, and I know you're going to achieve them.
Thank you.
So I hope to see you racing next year.
I hope
Hello,
to
Charles.
interview
And,
with
yes,
you next
indeed.
year.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
I
a
love
date.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
you got it.
All right.
So thank you for coming
Thank
out.
you very
Taking the
much.
time to speak with me. You made my day. I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
Oh,
So
I have too.
thank you so much.
I'm all ready to go.